Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to race number 6 of 30 for the 2023 Fastenal Cup Series season. It is Richmond Raceway, short track, and the first short track, I believe, of the season, actually, now to think about it. Last time out, we, of course, were at Atlanta Motor Speedway, where Brett Kennyberg got his first career win in a duel over Cody Lamas. So we go from super speedway to a short track in back-to-back weeks. Should be interesting to see how these drivers are able to take the 3/4 mile circuit here in the new next-gen car. Speaking of next-gen, it is a very surprising pole sitter because it is Ray Takita. You have Craig on the outside pole along with Theodore Keene, Tyler Blade Runner, Sparks, Hunter Hero, Travis Heflin, Lamas, Willard, and Max O'Quinn rounding out the top 10. So feel ready to go here. I'm ready to go. Fortunately, no co-commentator this week, or this race rather. But we'll try again here in the future for that. In the meantime, as we get set to go racing here, get that already set. 2x2, side by side. And the green flag is out. We're racing at Richmond. Still side by side for the lead as they come around and complete lap 1. Of 160 here. As it appears the lap counter is not working on the thing. Hold on a second. Alright, sorry about that. Lap counter apparently was not wanting to cooperate, but thankfully we got that fixed. So now we can continue on. And Takita now has cleared Craigo. Fedor has cleared Craigo. Now teammates side by side for third. And for the lead, here comes Theodore Keene to the inside of Takita. And it looks like Theodore is taking the spot. Now Heflin will pip the O2 for third across the line. As Hancock now looking to make a move on the O2 for third place. As Heflin goes for the lead against Keene. Craigo now on the inside line trying to charge back towards the front. It looks like Hancock was about to go and try and make a move for the lead going into turn 3, but couldn't quite do it. Now here he is going to maybe make a move into turn 1, and they are 3 wide. A little bit further back here. And they are still 3 wide. Maddox, Blade Runner, and Reinhardt all side by side there as Maddox clears Blade Runner, leaving the 77 side by side with the 81 as Craigo has a big check up in the middle of the corner there. And Hancock now has the lead. Fedor is still in third. Heflin in second. Maddox up to fourth. And Blade Runner in fifth. Make that Keene looking to take second, and Blade Runner up to fourth. Meanwhile, William Sparks still chasing his first career win, as he's now in his second season running for Team Penske. He's charged up towards the front. doing a pretty good job of stuff so far. Reinhardt also impressed last time out. At Atlanta, led quite a number of laps late in the going, but couldn't quite hang on. And I think actually had to make a pit stop right at the end of the race and sacrificed a whole bunch of track position. Like, there's actually quite a number of guys who usually aren't running all that well that are running up towards the front here. You got, obviously, Hancock in the lead, and the 33 of Keene in second, but you also have the 5 of Henson Jr. marching up towards the front. You got Maddox, who honestly has just been running good all season, as Craig is about to put it 3 wide with Sparks and Heflin here for, I believe that is 4th place? Yes. Takeda won the pole as well, and looks like she fell back, but is now working her way back up towards the front and whatnot. So, a few people here. Meanwhile, on the other end of the spectrum for Axiom Racing Union, Steffi Plexco is now running in dead last. So you win some, you lose some. In fact, Steffi Plexco started 32nd, if I recall correctly, so... On Cashel running decently, as well as the 84 of Darian Arnstruff. And both Bledsoe Racing cars running up towards the front here in the top 15 as the 8 of Foxen here as well, running just behind her teammate. Hancock's pulled away a little bit from Fedor Keene here. In fact, Henson Jr. sent it down the inside of the 33 for second. He's going to take the spot, too. Of course, there were rumors circulating that Henson Jr. might have been kicked from that seat, and John Mullen would have been asked to not or hold off retirement for just one more season and whatnot, but Henson was retained for Hendrick Motorsports. So who knows what truth to those rumors there were. So now we see Cole Dillon defending rookie, or not defending rookie of the year because you can only win that and run for it once, but Cole Dillon easily taking second place away from Henson Jr. and now trying to hold off that place from Fedor Keene. And Lord knows that Cole Dillon needs a good run here. He's got a long way to go in the points list. But of course, it's still early doors in the season. Only 1/6 of the way complete. And now after today will be just 1/5 of the way down through the season. As we see Takeda now side by side with Henson Jr. for 4th. And McGranger, the Daytona 500 winner, side by side with Crago for 6th. Blade Runner and Maddox side by side for 8th. Of course, former teammates at Steven Merzak Racing, which we made quite a bit of mention about that whole ordeal back at Rockingham for race 4, if I recall correctly. I don't know, it's been a while contextually since I last recorded a race, so. Here's Echo Evans Ross making her way up through the field, already side by side with Alana Keshiel. And she's being followed closely behind by Amy Walsh in the 44. Meanwhile, Hancock still continues to lead. We're already north of 20 laps complete here. In fact, they're lapping at lap 24, maybe 20. There it goes, 25. About to complete lap 25 here. And it's side by side for fourth now. Blade Runner versus Keen. And Blade Runner might take that spot, and he might even try and take third away from Takeda here. And he will in convincing fashion. Like, how close are cars to... Well, not quite half a lap away from lapping the field. As, Ian Wallace really down in order. He's running last right now. Brayon Stojanovic in 38th. William Montoya in 39th. And Jensen Nomino back here as well. Not great runs thus far for them. Oh, and even further back here is also Brett Kenningberg. And Steven Merzlik. Wow, they are not having great days today. Alexis Phillip is expected considering she's a part-time entry, as is the 95 of Fred McRiley. Both Wolfpack drivers, however, even Robert Dobson, definitely Cody Hayner, not expected to be back here. And Ian Wallace running last. That's just not a good look for the Team Penske overall. As Craig has broken back into the top three now, as we were focusing towards the more tail end of the pack. So we complete lap 30, go on to lap 31 now. Travis Heflin has taken fourth from Tyler Blade Runner, and now Henson Jr. looks to take fifth away. Cody Lamas has started to work his way up towards the front as well. He started deep in the field. One thing I'm interested in seeing is what the pit strategy will be like here, because it is 160 laps here. And I am running, I believe, 2 times tire and fuel use, so it's possible this is a 2-stop race. Although some drivers may try to make it on a single tank of fuel. Crago now takes second away from the 60 of Cole Dillon. Thor Keaton running in fifth. Heflin is sixth, I think. Yeah. And Cole Dillon gets back around the 62 Crago. Just a few laps away from already being quarter way done with this race. See McGranger now getting around Lamas to turn one. That is further back in the field. I believe that is for the 11th or 12th position. So we are now on lap 38. Crago gets back around Dillon. That's just allowing Hancock to increase his advantage here. Although it's not been much. It's actually a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be. So we see Heflin has found his way back into fourth. Keane is still in fifth. Henson sixth. 59 in seventh. And Evans Ross in eighth. And Granter taking ninth away from Sparks. And that is Roberto Crown Jr. almost sliding up into William Spark back in 11th. And is about to fall back to 12th thanks to Tyler Blade Runner getting around him. And here's Lamas now trying to take 12th away, sending Crown Jr. back to 13th. And that is a pretty much a done deal here. In fact, all 300 cars now running in the top 15 as Mikey Willard here towards the tail end of that. And running in 15th right now is Hunter Kiro. So not a good day for him, but not a bad day either. Of course, Mikey Willard has had top 10s in all but one race this year, so he's been leading the points ever since his win at the second race of the season at Auto Club, thanks to that. Cole Dillon at some point, while it's looking towards the tail end of the top 15, has gotten back around Crago. Henson Jr. has just completed a pass for 5th on Fedor Keen. Echo is up to 7th. Maddox has fallen to 8th. Lamas has broken into the top 10 and just about wrecked the 77 because he drove it in deep into turn 1. Hunter Kiro has started working his way up the field here by the looks of things. And so is Merzlak. So he must have heard me mention just how poorly he was running here. Because he's worked his way up. Kita and Reinhardt have both fallen back. As has the 23 Keshiel. And the 8 of Foxen. A couple drivers I noticed have been moving up through the field have been Plexco and more specifically Nomina, because I said they were running outside the top 30, but they had broken into it. Nomina, I think, has fallen back a little bit, and Kenningberg also trying to work his way up closer to the front. But we'll see how they were scored at the last scoring loop of whatever the ticker is running on. I'm not even sure what lap the ticker is scoring according to anymore. So we see Cole Dillon now, once again, fighting Crago for second. William Sparks has broken back into the top 10. Hunter Kiro into the top 10 for the first time today since starting the race. Still scoring 95 in last, and yep, that is definitely last place for Fred McRiley. Ian Wallace down 38th. An improvement, I say sarcastically. I'll say, I'm surprised with as aggressive as these guys are running, there has been no wrecks yet. Just goes to show you the level of talent these guys do have when they apply themselves, at the very least. And I believe Cole Dillon and Crago have both... Oh, yeah. I was about to say, it looks like they caught Hancock. They have not just caught Hancock. Cole Dillon is currently passing Hancock for the lead. And now car number 60 becomes, I believe, the 4th different leader of the race. Maybe 5th. As we see Mercedes versus Mercedes here with Maddox versus Keene. Now Hunter Kiro wants a piece of the action. And of course, you see the sponsor Pepsi. They recently announced a rebranding of the company and whatnot. And the team did say that they are working with PepsiCo to incorporate that rebrand later on in the season. It's unknown when that rebrand will debut on board the 92 Ford 400 Kiro. Just figured I'd share that little nugget of information. Golden hasn't pulled away from Hancock, but he hasn't really been reeled in by the three either. And now here comes Hancock now trying to retake the lead from Dylan. Is that going to allow Kriego to close? Possibly. Maybe. It might not. I mean, Hancock wasn't able to run away when Kriego and Dylan were battling, so who knows? Also, Hunter Kiro is now in 5th, which means Henson's now 6th. Evans Ross is now 7th. Granger 8th. Keene now in 9th. Of course, to say that, he takes 8th away from Granger. Maddox in 10th, but here comes Sparks now to the inside trying to crack into the top 10. And Willard looks to also challenge for an opportunity to crack into that area as well. Not a good day for Wolfpack today, as Armstrong has also fallen towards the tail end of the field. And Calvin Richards running the worst of the three Wolfpack teams so far. Very contrasting to how they ran last time out at Atlanta, where two of them were on effectively the podium. Of course, Kenningberg winning the race, and if I recall correctly, Richards second or third by the end of it. And Archer like in 17th, if I recall correctly, for the finishing position there for him. Now here they all sit pretty much right outside the top 30. So definitely a disappointing day for Wolfpack. Let's see if they can turn around in the pit stops here. We work way back up front. Willard has definitely cracked the top 10, and Kriego now goes side by side with Cole Dillon for second. And the more things change, the more stay the same, apparently. Willard up to 7th. Lamas up to 8th. And Henson back to 10th and maybe further back. So briefly, all 300 cars running right alongside each other, but not anymore. And if you're running that inside line, you can send it deep into turn 1, even on older tires here. Case in point, Dillon was about a car length and a half back from Kriego, but it was able to get at least to the door number there on corner entry. So we now complete lap 65 and go to lap 66 of 160. Willard now on the outside losing spots to some of these guys here. So while there isn't necessarily any direct action up towards the front, there's definitely some racing action throughout the field here. As positions are being, ooh, wow, Blade Runner might have gotten into Willard there a little bit. Anyways, as I was saying, positions are definitely being traded back and forth throughout the field, so Can't say there's no action on track. So see Ricky Fox side by side with Alana Kiro. Unsure of what position exactly that is for, of course, because I'm not using the in-game ticker. Yeah, I don't have the system set up to work. Look, but eh. So we are now on lap 70. Ignore the fact that the ticker, of course, now it takes over half a lap after the lap has started. Scrago retakes second from Cole Dillon. Heflin and Kiro have not gained, nor have they lost time. Lama's solidly in sixth, but Theodore Keene trying to make it that not be the case anymore. It's actually lost a little bit of time trying to get to Lamas' inside down the back straightaway. Evans Ross just chilling in 8th, Maddox 9th, Henson 10th, with Willard just outside the top 10 in 11th. Then you are side by side with 12th between Sparks and Granger. Leonard in 13th, Walsh 14th, and Reinhardt's cracked the top 15 again. Back up front, Cole Dillon. Back around, Crago for second. I think they've closed in on Hancock a little bit. And surprisingly, the fields actually stayed relatively close together. Like, Fred McRiley's running last right now, still little, roughly around half a lap ahead of Hancock, which is surprising considering we are almost halfway into this race. We're on lap 76 now of 160. Just 4 laps to go at the line until halfway, so, which is also interesting because I thought this was going to be a 2-stop race, but if these guys are able to make it to halfway at the very minimum, then it's just going to be a 1-stop race, just like just about every other race has been so far. At some point, Crago's gotten back around Cole Dillon. I do think the field is starting to get a little bit more spread out, but as people run different lines and try and experiment with where they're running and whatnot, just naturally the battles start happening and the drivers start working it out. So I think Hancock's starting to click off faster laps, and now Crago's pulled away from Dillon, and Heflin has now caught Dillon and passed Dillon for third. So it's now Chevy, Dodge, Ford. Ford, the top 5, as Hunter Kiro continues to run in 5th, Lamas in 6th. Keene's gotten back up to 7th, and Henson Jr. and Maddox are side by side for 8th and 9th. And Amy Walsh has cracked the top 10 in this running there, however, not for long, as here comes Blade Runner now to the inside. And that pass is a done deal, and Granger's also going to try and get a piece of the action here. But Walsh actually keeps clear of McGranger. Although for how long? Not very long. McGranger sends it deep into turn 1, like just about everybody else. And now, much like with Crago, Dillon now fights with Heflin and retakes third. As we are now officially past halfway, we are on lap 82 of 160. I'm actually surprised the Taker ticked over to 82 that fast. Not gonna lie. Blade Runner continues to charge further up into the top 10, although it's probably going to stall here considering the gap he has to Maddox. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell sometimes. You say one thing and then the opposite happens. You say another, and you know how it goes. Dylan's put the ever so slight smallest of gaps on Heflin, but we all know how quickly that can close, especially if you run a little bit higher going into turn one than the person behind you. Which looks like Heflin actually was the one a little bit higher. Maddox and Keane side by side now. This Blade Runner's been passed by Granger. Erica Reinhardt on the charge up towards the front now. Now is apparently for 11th position, according to the taker here. So we are now on lap 88 of 160. So just past halfway. So this will be a one-stop race for these guys. No cautions so far. Plenty of racing action throughout the field. At least outside of the lead here, as I think the 3 of Hancock is just a few laps away from locking up the lead lap bonus for most laps led. So we look through the field here, and Fred McRae's still just under half a lap away from being put a lap down by Brandon Hancock. Which, by the way, fun fact about Fred McRae. Apparently, last time out at Atlanta, when I ran that race, Fred McRae was in the field. But for some reason, I don't know if I was just misclicking ski or whenever I was trying to add or modify the roster or whatnot, but for some reason, he had his testing scheme enabled for that roster for Atlanta and not this actual unsponsored scheme. Now the cars look almost identical. It's just there's a slightly cloudy-ish pattern to the testing car to make it seem like it's more of a primer car with just like a red coloring to it, and there's no associate sponsors or contingencies decals. Those are really the only differences between the two cars. But I figured out a point that out as kind of like a little funny director's commentary type thing, since I'm doing commentary anyway. Haha. And also to fill any dead air, because the field's starting to get spread out and battles are becoming less and less common. I mean, Hancock's driven away from Crago a little bit more, who hasn't quite pulled away from Dillon, who has pulled away from Heflin, who's been reeled in by Hunter Kiro. And Lamas is, just there. He's been chilling sixth now for like the last 30 laps. Max has just taken 7th from Fedor Keen, which is the battle that's been kind of raging for like the last 5 laps or so. Maybe 10, maybe 15. Laps are actually going quite quickly here. Blade Runner is in a 9th, I want to say. We'll see here on the ticker in a second. Yeah, 9th. I called it correctly. Woohoo. And then Echo Evans Ross, of course, running in 10th, just ahead of Mikey Willard. As we see Henson Jr. take 12th away from William Sparks, who's going to lose that spot to Harold McGranger now. And Erica Reinhardt running 14th right now. Pretty good day, all things considered. And then Amy Walsh runs out the top 15 and is now being hounded by the 23 of Alana Keshiel. And Keshiel trying to get there, can't quite do it. Steven Merzlik, meanwhile, trying to continue his charge towards the front. He's trying to get to the inside of the 37 now. At least I'm pretty sure I have it set on 2 times tire and fuel use. I just realized we're now on lap 100 going on lap 101. Normally pit stops at short tracks happen about lap 120, 130 here, I think, with a normal fuel run in real life. I could be wrong about that. Which means they should have already pitted, like between like 160, 165, maybe 170 at the absolute latest. And they haven't. Blade Runner at some point has gotten around Keen, and now here comes Echo Evans Russ looking to try and take the spot away. Sparks has gotten back around Henson Jr. Merzlik is now running in 15th. They're making that 16th, scoring Reinhardt in 15th. Which means I must be missing something here, or miscounting. And yeah, at this point, Hancock definitely has locked up most laps led. Considering we're almost 30 laps past the halfway point. And it is possible I might have it set on 1 times tire and fuel use by accident. Considering that's, I think, the settings. I use for the Super Speedway races. Oh! Pit stops, hey! Reinhardt, Takeda, Bishop, Henson Jr., Foxen, And more are in, and drivers coming out as drivers are coming in. And Crago stays out, but the rest of the leaders pit, with the exception of Hunter Kiro. So it's going to be interesting to see where everyone all comes in and out. And does Crago pit this time? Does Kiro pit this time? Crago is coming in. Kiro is coming in. Henson Jr. is already on track, or had already come down pit road, as did the 81 of Reinhardt, if I recall correctly. So see a whole heap of drivers now leaving pit road. Interesting to see where everyone winds up, as Crago will beat the 92 off of pit road, who beats the 59 off pit road. And if my calculations are correct, Hancock has cycled out to be the leader. Crago second, Dillon third, Kiro fourth, Thomas fifth, Maddox sixth, Henson Jr. Where did the third... Wow. Travis Heflin must have either had issues on pit road or a really, really poor stop for him to be that far back. Holy cow. Meanwhile, big mover on that pit road, it has to be Erica Reinhardt as she moves forward there. We'll see how things cycled out next time the ticker goes around, but I do believe Hancock is once again the leader. Interestingly, right at the tail end of the field now with Brajan Stojanovic right in front of him. Although it is showing people a lap down, but that could have just been an earlier instance of scoring. We shall see here in a moment. And yep, Hancock is once again the leader. Crago is second, Dillon third, Kiro fourth, Lamas fifth, and Maddox, Samuel Henson Jr., Reinhardt, Evans, Ross, and Blade Runner are the top 10. So St. Merzlik also moved forward there, as did the 7 of Lana Kiro. She just takes 12th away from Ricky Fox and Robert. But the big loser there, Travis Heflin, went all the way from running in like third or fourth, all the way down outside the top 10 now, close to the tail end of the top 15 even, and Fedor Keen even also was running in the top 10, fell outside of it, so not a good time for him, as we see the Bishop Family Racing drivers side by side for around 20th position or so. And speaking of which, Mikey Willard also outside the top 20 now, effectively. So not great for him. And Amy Walsh also a big loser on that cycle of pit stops. So we are now on lap 120 of 160, I believe. Now on 121. And Cole Dillon has gotten around Crago. Now two rookies going at it here further back in the top 10. Ooh, Evans Ross, I think, just moved the 81 there. Reinhardt trying not to give it up without a fight, but will have to concede due to where they are on the track in terms of the with which line they're running. Merzlik, I think, putting the boot to his own teammate and the car he owns as well. Trying to, I think, break into the top 10, if I recall correctly. As the 38 is back on pit road for, oh, looks like due to a fuel leak, according to the game at least. So the woes for Wolfpack go from bad to worse now, as the team now has one of their cars sitting on pit road due to a mechanical issue, as Merzlik now gets the inside of Reinhardt and will complete that pass going into turn 3 here. Can anyone catch Hancock, though? I think is the big question. Because he's led pretty much since like lap 6 or 7, and with exception to the few handful of laps that were run under green flag pit stops, as we see 98 of RJ Bishop also having a engine issue, not necessarily blowing up though. He's just now gonna sit on pit road. Actually, I think he retired from the race. Gonna have to double check that, but Hancock's led all but pretty much maybe 15 of the laps in this event. Oh no, RJ Bishop is not out of this race. He comes back out on track. And actually kind of is now in between Hancock and Dillon, though that's not going to last for very long. So now Craigo goes to the inside of Bishop and will take that spot. Hancock still not necessarily running to catch and pass the lap cars ahead of him. At the same time, I don't think Cole Dillon really is catching up to the 3 either. Of course, I'll say that he's now on the back bumper of the 84, who, to be fair, is also running off pace as well. And Maddox has caught Lamas now. So it's going to be interesting to see if Maddox can get around the 48 here within the next few laps, as we are rapidly approaching 20 laps to go here. And, oh! And we will have our first caution of the night as... Oh, Hancock gets caught up in a wreck. Hold on. There, I was trying to look up to see if Hancock had won any races before, hence the reason why it sounded like I was distracted there for a moment. And then there's a wreck, and then... Okay, so... there's definitely some unpacking that needs to be done here. So, according to the chat, the 82 has an engine failure. Which is true. Has an engine failure right in the middle of 3 and 4. He slows up. That checks pretty much the whole field up behind him. Ooh, and there must have been oil on the track or something, because O'Quinn and Nomino both have simultaneous slides and whatnot. And then further up the field, oh, looks like the 82... Yeah, Plaxco, for whatever reason, just could not keep control of her car and not only plowed into the back end of the 82, but then veered right into the 99 of Montoya. And then the 88, just nowhere to go, being pushed from behind, plows into the 82. Oh! And the 82 just sitting in the middle of the track. Hancock, he had all the room on the right side and just did not move over enough and just plowed into the back end of the 90 as well. So, all right. So, now, unfortunately, the 84, the 29, and the 80 won't get wave arounds here because they were part of the caution and whatnot. But, like, it's going to be interesting to see if that has any impact on the 90 here and whether or not he will have damage to that engine and whatnot. Because that now brings pretty much the pack right up to him, minus the lapped cars here. Which, of course, is not what he wanted. Of course, we got 20 laps to go. Of course, it's going to be less once the thing is. Although, I did just realize we are outside of the 10 let go, so lapped cars will be lining up on the inside. It's only the 4, of course. As Kenningberg is confirmed to be now the one and so far only retiree of the race. Calvin Richards still 21 laps down. He still has a shot at passing his teammate. So, of course, Wolfpack's woes, just the less said about this day, the better, probably. As the pace car dives off, so he gets set to go racing once again. And the green flag is out. And while the 3 had an initially good start, he's now being swallowed up by pretty much everybody on that inside lane now. That being the lap traffic. And 98 also having engine issues is not helping the inside lane get around the 3 any faster. But now here comes Lamas. He's going to take the lead with Maddox right behind. And yeah, the 3 must have some sort of engine damage because he is holding up that outside lane even more so than usual. Llama's now clear of the 98 of Bishop. Evans Ross up into third. Merzlik fourth. And that might change here as now Maddox is caught behind Nomina, who's caught in that wreck. Oh, and the 3 almost got turned. I couldn't quite get back to here fast enough because that's how fast cars were going by. But yeah, the 60 gets into the 3, just is being held up. And the 81 also gets tagged into that. So clearly, Cole Dillon frustrated with where he was stuck behind the 3 and whatnot. And I don't even know who's leading anymore. Who's leading? Fedor Keen. Fedor Keen is leading right now. Evans Ross second. Maddox trying to go for third on Lamas. We are approaching 10 laps to go. Man, what a turn of events here. Evans Ross now on the back bumper with Fedor Keen. Here comes Maddox as well. He's gotten around Lamas. Lamas trying now to make a 3 wide potentially on Max O'Quinn, who is a lap down. I think Max O'Quinn is a lap down. Yeah, Max O'Quinn is a lap down. He was involved in that wreck. Keen has, for whatever reason, driven away from the 43. And now has a lap car between himself and Evans Ross and the rest of the field. And Hancock so close to his first career win and was caught up in issues with lap traffic, and now he is probably running towards the tail end of the field. Meanwhile, Fedor Keen now trying to go for his first career win. And he has, I believe, 9 laps to do it. Meanwhile, 3 wide for second, ever so briefly. Ooh, almost getting turned there is Maddox as Blade Runner tries to get to the inside of the 59. Blade Runner, of course, trying to go for, I believe, his 3rd career win? Three wide for third now. Lamas and Echo Evans Ross, I think, made contact there. They make contact again and again down the front straightaway. Lamas playing with fire, about ready to get turned there. Fedor Keen's not running away from Nomina there. Can Lamas or Blade Runner catch up to Keen in the next 6 laps? Blade Runner had a really good turns 1 and 2 there. Lamas close behind as well. Ooh, Blade Runner got loose. That's going to allow Lamas to get to the inside. They're coming to 4 to go now. Yeah, and Hancock's fallen way, way back. Lamas now just has 4 laps to get around Nomina and then catch and pass the 33. Three laps to go now. Will Keen hang on, or will Lamas pull some magic out of his ass? And, yep, there he goes. He's now around the 80, effectively. There's still about half-second gap. 2 laps to go now. They'll be seeing the white flag this time by. One final time around. Half a lap to go now as they come off turn 2. Can Llamas dive it in turn 3? It's not going to be enough. Thorkeen will get his first career win at Richmond. Keen, Llamas, Maddox, Evans Ross, Blade Runner, Hunter Kiro, Heflin, Reinhardt, Granger I should say, and Willard, the top 10 at the end of it all. Cole Dillon, Craigo both losing spots there after being caught up behind the 3. Just heartbreaking turn of events for Hancock. Led the most laps, was on track to win, and then another driver blows an engine, other drivers get caught in oil, and that driver that blew an engine just sitting right in the middle of the track. But at the same time, of course, Hancock had quite a bit of room to on the right-hand side there to get around the 82 without colliding in there. So as much of a heartbreak it is to see Hancock, not bring the 3 car to victory, and it's also partially self-inflicted there. But in any case, I forgot to rename that race 6. Oh well. So yeah, it's Calvin Richards never got back onto the track, by the way, so he is classified as last, even with his teammates' retirement there. But next time out, however, it is going to be Pocono Raceway, a favorite track of a certain driver of the number 13 car who finished 7th today. So, of course, that is next time around, and we'll see you then, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all so much for watching. See you at Pocono.